You found the podcast, Go Beyond the Brief, where we take a deep dive into the societal currents shaping our lives. Together, we'll explore the often unseen forces at play. We'll examine the research, dissect the data, and most importantly, if you're seeking to understand what's shaping our society, this is the place.
Today, we're plunging into, well, a really fascinating, but also, frankly, quite unsettling legal document.
Yeah?
It's an indictment filed by the United States District Court, Eastern District of Michigan, dated July 23, 2025.
And for anyone not used to reading these, remember, an indictment is an accusation from a grand jury, not a conviction.
Exactly. It lays out the alleged crimes. So our mission today for this deep dive is to really unpack the serious allegations here. We want to try and understand the intricate system it describes and get the key insights into how these kinds of operations are alleged to function.
Right.
We're looking at accusations, painting a picture of, well, coercion, control, big financial gain, all supposedly under the banner of a religious group.
And what's so striking, I think, is how this legal document, which you might think is dry, just pulls back the curtain on these really complex human dynamics.
Yeah.
It's not just a list. It really details the meticulous work, the investigation that goes into describing alleged forced labor and money laundering.
Right. As we go through it, you see not just what allegedly happened, but the how. The methods, the system, the scale. It's quite something.
It really highlights that alleged paradox, doesn't it? Claims of divine connection, but leading to what looks like deep human exploitation.
Absolutely.
So to understand this whole web, let's start with the individuals named at the center and these claims they allegedly used to build this kingdom.
Okay.
The main defendants named are David Taylor, D1 in the document, and Michelle Brannon, D2.
And stepping back a bit, the indictment identifies Taylor as the leader of this Kingdom of God Global Church, KOGGC.
KOGGC, right.
Which used to be known as Joshua Media Ministries International, or JMMI.
Ah, okay, JMMI.
And Brannon is described as the executive director, basically allegedly assisting Taylor carrying out his orders. So a clear hierarchy there.
And this religious leader angle, I mean, claiming face-to-face encounters with God, the indictment suggests this wasn't just talk, was it? It was key to his authority. That seems to be the core allegation, yeah. The document says he calls himself apostle and Jesus' best friend.
Wow.
Claims multiple face-to-face encounters with God and that God gave him the keys to the kingdom on earth.
That's quite a claim.
It's a huge claim. And the indictment suggests this self-proclaimed divine status was, foundational to the alleged control.
Right, it makes sense. If people believe that, defying him is like defying God.
Exactly. So the document then describes KOGGC setting up call centers, not just in Taylor, Michigan, but Missouri, Florida, Texas, too.
Okay.
And the alleged purpose, using phone solicitors to raise money from donors, supposedly for KOGGC's operations and ministry.
And who are these solicitors? This is where the economic disparity really starts to show up, isn't it?
It seems so. These phone solicitors, and also others, Taylor, called armor bearers.
Armor bearer?
Yeah, described basically as personal servants. They were allegedly unpaid.
Unpaid.
While KOGC, the indictment claims, pulled in millions, roughly $50 million since 2014.
$50 million.
And Taylor allegedly used that for an extravagant personal lifestyle. Residences, flights, cars, luxury goods, you name it.
So this huge gap between the unpaid labor and the leader's alleged lifestyle, the indictment suggests that was almost part of the control mechanism.
It certainly paints that picture. The leader's alleged opulence reinforces his status, maybe, while the followers' alleged deprivation keeps them dependent.
And these armor bearers, their duties were quite specific, weren't they?
Oh, very specific according to the document, not just general help. Allegedly providing food for Taylor, driving him, maintaining homes and cars, transport women from ministry houses, airports, and this is quite intrusive, allegedly ensuring women transported to Taylor took Plan B contraceptives.
Wow. That level of alleged personal demand plus no pay, it really sets the stage for the broader forced labor claims.
It does. It shows a really specific alleged control even before we get to the main charges.
Which are serious. The indictment charges Taylor and Brannon with conspiracy to commit forced labor, and the alleged methods listed are pretty chilling. Force, threats of force, physical restraint, threats of serious harm, abuse of law. This whole scheme to get uncompensated labor.
And building on that, what really stands out is just the breadth of the alleged control.
Yeah.
The defendants are accused of controlling practically every aspect of the daily living of these victims. It wasn't just about work.
It sounds like a total dismantling of their autonomy.
That's the allegation. Demanding victims cut off family, friends, anyone who questioned Taylor or KOGGC.
Isolating them.
Exactly. Full-time staff allegedly had to quit outside jobs.
Yeah.
Creating this, sealed environment where the control could just fester.
So it wasn't just what they did for KOGGC, but their entire lives were managed. Where did they even live?
Well, the indictment says victims allegedly slept right in the call center facilities or in these ministry houses.
Ministry houses.
And it lists addresses, specific places in Michigan, Missouri, Florida, Texas. Plus, strict control over personal lives, even prohibiting dating within KOGGC, allegedly. It's a picture of a really insular world.
And beyond where they lived. The indictment mentions something about government benefits, EBT cards.
Yes, that's another layer. Taylor and Brannon allegedly demanded victims apply for EBT, electronic benefits transfer cards.
Okay.
And claim to be homeless to get them. Then supposedly hand the cards over to KOGC staff.
And why? What was the alleged purpose of that?
The allegation is that these EBT funds and also SNAP funds, food stamps, were used to buy food for KOGGC staff.
So exploiting public resources on top of the individuals?
That's what's alleged. Diverting welfare funds while controlling the victim's basic food supply. It's quite a system described here.
So for the people actually working in those call centers, what did this alleged system mean day to day, especially with their work?
Well, the indictment claims they were told to lie to donors.
Why hell?
Falsely state that donations were for charity, like water wells in poor countries, or helping trafficking victims. Things like that. But meanwhile, these solicitors were allegedly given these unobtainable monetary donation quotas. Daily, weekly, monthly quotas they just couldn't meet.
Setting them up to fail.
It seems that way. Failure is built in, which then justifies the alleged punishments if they missed targets or disobeyed orders.
And what were these alleged punishments? The document gets into some disturbing mechanisms of coercion here.
It does. It talks about rebukings.
Rebuking?
Yeah, large group meetings, victims allegedly publicly humiliated, subjected to yelling, sometimes forced to kneel in an attitude of repentance.
Public humiliation.
And alleged physical assaults, threats of more violence during these sessions, which could apparently last minutes or even hours.
Hours? Wow.
Other alleged punishments included extra work, restricting food or shelter, psychological abuse, sleep deprivation. It sounds like a systematic way to break someone down.
And the threats weren't just physical or social, were they? There was a spiritual element, too.
A very powerful one, allegedly. Taylor supposedly regularly claimed that disobeying him meant defying God and suffering in hell.
Using their faith against them.
It appears so. The indictment also states victims were often denied medical attention, physically abused, and instilled with this fear of divine judgment, physical harm, eternal damnation, if they even thought about leaving KOGC.
That adds such a potent layer of control, leveraging their deepest beliefs.
Absolutely.
And the indictment includes some examples, direct quotes from text messages allegedly sent to victims. They are really something.
They are incredibly revealing about the alleged intensity and the dehumanizing nature of it all.
Like this one, May 5th, 2021, allegedly from Taylor. You'll have to raise $164K today. Each hour you fall behind, consequences will start. We will mess with the food.
Mess with the food.
You will fast from the regular food or abstain for a while normally. As of now, there's a 21-day peanut butter and jelly regimen like before.
Peanut butter and jelly for 21 days.
Those who do not push in their calls individually and as a team, at 6 p.m. and they don't eat dinner at all. If they do good afterward, they may get a snack before bed, but not much. And this regimen will go on every day for 21 days until they obey. Take away the food fi. There will be other consequences. We must make them fast and pray.
Wow. Just laying out food deprivation as punishment. That message alone paints such a stark picture.
It really does. The alleged fear, the control.
And there's a pattern in these alleged messages, isn't there? Threats of food deprivation, humiliation, extreme work hours. All is enforcement.
Yeah, look at this one from September 19th, 2021. Allegedly tailored to Michelle and Kia about a victim. Make them all stand and tell them if the punishment of 4 mm don't work, I'm going to make it worser and worser.
Escalating threats.
They are going to get their beds out of my house and sleep in the garage. Everyone piled in there. This ruthless boot camp is going to get worse and worse until they do what we are telling them. There will only be soup, bread, and water for all the degenerates every day.
Calling them degenerates. Soup, bread, and water. Sleeping in a garage. It shows the alleged escalation, the dehumanization.
And just 9 days later, September 28th, 2021, he allegedly texted, "Pour water on everyone's faces that's halfway sleeping and not working. Wake them up now."
Pour water on their faces.
My next level of judgment tomorrow is that it won't be to just 4 a.m. It will be every hour you waste in the day will be added on past 4 a.m. Tell them all to stand now. You throw water on their faces. Especially the people not doing anything. You tell them, I don't care about them being sick.
Doesn't care if they're sick. The alleged lack of basic human concern is just chilling.
It really is. And these quotes, the indictment presents them not as isolated incidents, right? But as illustrations of this intense control, the psychological abuse, blending spiritual decree with outright threats.
Exactly. And there's another one here, October 27th, 2021. Taylor allegedly saying, "You are working until 4 a.m. and then getting up at 8 a.m. to start again."
Yeah.
None of you, including top closers, will get away with not working when we are in a dire push every day. Now, I don't care if you are tired. You've crossed the line. You're going to work all night and get up in the morning. I want all the names of those who are not helping. Now they are going to the homeless shelter out.
Threatening to make them homeless.
Yeah. It shows the alleged threats weren't idle. They had real, terrifying potential consequences for these victims.
And the indictment lists multiple counts of forced labor, each one tied to a specific person, with timelines sometimes spanning years. One victim, allegedly from 2009 all the way through 2018.
Nearly a decade.
It suggests such a deeply entrenched pattern of alleged abuse.
And that ties directly into count 10, money laundering conspiracy.
Okay.
This alleged scheme took those millions in donations, the proceeds generated through the alleged forced labor offense.
Right, the $50 million.
And deposited them into the JM IOGC accounts. What's key here is how those funds, allegedly gotten through exploitation, were then supposedly moved around and used to hide where they came from and to benefit the defendants.
So we talked about the alleged forced labor, how donations were collected. How does this connect to that lavish lifestyle you mentioned earlier for Taylor and Brannon?
Well, the indictment claims these funds were used precisely for that, supporting Taylor's alleged extravagant lifestyle and enriching Brannon.
And what kind of purchases are we talking about? The indictment gets specific.
Oh, very specific. The financial transaction details paint a really stark picture. For instance, May 2024, a lease signing payment of over $123,000 for a Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
A Rolls-Royce, okay.
Alleged purchases of multiple Mercedes-Benz vehicles, Bentley Continentals, a Crown Line boat, 5 ATVs, 2 jet skis, plus a trailer.
It's quite a list.
It is. And it's not just vehicles. It seems to illustrate this alleged continuous pattern of personal enrichment, funded by donations meant for charity.
And it wasn't just vehicles and boats, right? I remember seeing something about seafood.
Ah, yes. That one definitely catches the eye. September 2021, an alleged purchase of 125 pounds of super colossal Red King crab legs, plus shears and cutters, totaling over $10,000.
$10,000 on crab legs.
Allegedly. And also things like Bulletproof Automotive Services. Over $80,000 spent on that across several transactions in 2024, allegedly.
Bulletproofing. Wow. It just paints this incredibly vivid picture, doesn't it? The alleged disparity between the unpaid, brutalized labor and this level of personal spending and security.
The level of detail really underscores the investigation's meticulous nature.
Yeah.
And putting this back into the legal context, it's so important to keep saying, this is an indictment. These are allegations from a grand jury.
Not proven facts yet.
Exactly. It outlines the charges against Taylor and Brannon, and significantly, it includes criminal forfeiture allegations.
Meaning what? Exactly.
Meaning any property involved in or derived from these alleged crimes, the cars, the houses, whatever, could potentially be seized by the U.S. government if there's a conviction.
So aiming to take away the financial proceeds.
Right, disrupting the alleged financial infrastructure. It adds another major layer of potential consequences.
So stepping back, what does this all mean for you, the listener, beyond just the details of this one case? This deep dive gives us a really stark look, I think, into the alleged inner workings of an organization that, according to this document, used manipulation, fear, control to exploit people for money, all while allegedly hiding behind a religious facade. The level of detailed control described over lives, money, health, it's just profoundly impactful to read about. A sobering reminder of how complex coercion can be.
It really is.
We've certainly unpacked a huge amount today. The allegations of forced labor, the psychological abuse, the alleged money laundering, that stark contrast. It's a lot to take in.
It is, and it does raise a pretty important question for all of us, doesn't it? Which is, how do we as a society actually identify and protect vulnerable people from this kind of coercive control? especially when it's masked by something seemingly legitimate like religion? What are those subtle signs, that we might be overlooking right in front of us?
That is definitely something for you to chew on long after this deep dive is over.